Good morning, good morning. It is Wednesday Wellness, and welcome to our live radio show. Today, we're going to talk about weight that we don't measure. Now, we're all familiar with Wednesday Wellness. If you've been with me a long period of time, or if you're just coming in today, we're going to tell you what it's all about. Wednesday Wellness is about self-caring and focusing on that. And with that, I'd like to say that you know how people are so into dieting, their weight, their shape. Well, we want to think about something that we don't really weigh out. We don't really uh, think about it. And when I say think about it, it's not in a way that's a bad way or a way that is. I want you to do it in a way that is most healthiest for you. And what do I mean by that? Well, let's think about it. We talk about wellness, right? We talk about getting well, being well, and staying well. How do we do it? Well, if you've been with us for the last 6 years, then you're working on your emotions. How do you check into them? You're considering and finding the things you need to do to get well, be well, and stay well. You know, we carry a lot of burden on ourselves. And some of the things that I want to talk about today would be a list of them. We have these things without even thinking about it. We have what is overthinking. Good morning, Trish.
Good
How
morning.
how many of us have an issue with overthinking something? And you've overthought it so much that it starts to affect you physically. Overthinking.
I have.
And how does that work out for you when you overthink?
When I overthink, it causes a lot of headaches or migraines, and it also drains me because I'm overthinking so much, so I just don't want to do what I'm overthinking about.
Yeah. Our line is open. 1-888-721-9260. We're open for you. When I think about overthinking, it makes me not be able to think. What's the remedy that you use to help you not to overthink? Not to overthink. We don't measure that. We just go with it. And I don't consider myself to overthink a lot. There are times when I have done it. Okay. And I have done it to the point of causing myself not to sleep. So it's not one of my biggest unwellness signs. How about fear of failure? Anybody have that? A fear of failure? Maybe you're going to approach a project, or maybe you have something new coming up, and you say, what if? What if I? Do you do that? When we do that, It stops us from being risk takers. So what are the things that we've done in our lives that we can say, I didn't fail that? You know, I've talked to so many people, and so many people, when it comes to raising their children, I've heard more times than not, I failed my children. I failed them. You know, that sounds sad. It sounds hopeless. But what if I were to tell you that failing your children can be a turning around? That is, if they're still here, and you can turn that around. I want to touch on that because I've heard it so many times. For failure, not only with raising children, but fearing that, the job change that's coming up, or an assignment that you need to do. Maybe it's an assignment around the house. What makes you fear that you will fail? Unless you have tried it. We don't measure these things out. We need to think about what it's doing to our insides. We have to unleash the burden. We have to recognize it in order to be able to identify it. Anybody around carrying some sort of guilt? I wish I would have. If only I should have. I could have done it. I wouldn't have done it. You get it? If I could have, would have, should have. We do that. We constantly beat ourselves up. But what if you didn't have the opportunity to get to the if I could have, would have, should have? What if you're going to get the opportunity to say, I did do this. I had the chance. Because you see, we can't go back over what is already past. I have been talking probably for more than 10 minutes. And what I've said has gone. Did you really listen? A lot of us are facing financial pressure, loss of jobs, new work to look forward to, worrying about how you're going to pay this, how you're going to do this, car payments. We are all faced with that burden. How do you handle it? As lines are open, we'd love to hear from you, because we know that it can be overwhelming. The burdens that we never take time to do anything about. When those burdens come, it can break us if you're not careful. They can quietly affect our well-being. It can also creep into our relationships, take the joy away from us, and give us no future to hold on to. We must pay attention. I know for one of the things that I'd like you to do, we've had this in a kind of sort of way. If you have a backpack, I'd like you to fill that backpack up with something heavy. You know, if you have books. And I want you to try to carry it around. And do this for about 15 minutes and see how it affects you. These are the things that we carry. I'm going to give you a scenario, and especially you parents with kids, you know exactly what I'm talking about, or if you're in school or college and you have books. Have you ever had to just unload your books? You walk around and you have those heavy books, you know, the books that are the guide to your classrooms, your classes. Have you ever stopped to say that backpack is too heavy? And in a real literal way, ladies and gentlemen, our children are doing that. Check their backpacks. Because we mean this in a literal way as well, because they could be carrying too much at one time, and it's too heavy. I want you to pay attention to how you do it. In this case, we have rocks. Carrying rocks, can you imagine that? The heaviest rocks? Now the rocks not only are heavy, but they are carrying change down to your person. Guilt could be like that. Something that you've guilted. We're not talking about sneaking in the kitchen and eating a pie. That's not the guilt that we're talking about. You know, when they say guilty pleasure, I want to give that a better term, because if I eat something, I'm not going to feel guilty about it. That's just plain and simple. I walked into that kitchen knowing that I wanted that pie, so I don't feel guilty. So there are, in my land of the living, no guilty pleasures, because I want you to be aware of what you do. We are talking about guilt that does not make us feel pleasurable, that does not bring joy, that affects our well-being and chains us and holds us down as if we are an immovable object. This is what we carry. The shame and the guilt. Today is about well-being. Your well-being. My well-being. Getting better. Becoming better than what we were yesterday and the day before. You have to unchain those things that burden you. And today our song is Unchained Melody. Love that song. How about the need to forgive yourself or forgive others? We talk about that a lot. How are we doing in that area? Is there something lately that has been on your back that you just can't forgive yourself for? And if I were to ask you today, would you like to forgive yourself for whatever that unforgiveness thing that you've been chained to. You've been weighed down. You've been burdened day and night, night and day. That it actually stops you from being the person that you wish to be. There is hope. Learning, opportunities, education, educating ourselves. Because again, I'm in the field of talking to people, and people are dealing with unforgiveness. You bring up something just as if you were in a role play, and they will stream tears. And that's why I know that they are having an issue with that. How do we do this? How do we change it to forgive? It's one step at a time. How many of us are dealing with chronic stress? So much stress that we literally are giving ourselves ulcers. We literally are giving ourselves unknowingly headaches. I'm no doctor, by the way, but I am a certified counselor and life coach. And all things are not caused by what I say, but these are scenarios of chronic stress, headaches. And if you've had that headache for a prolonged period of time, I suggest that you do get it checked out by a medical doctor. Like when people say, I gotta clean the house, and your headache starts instantly. I'm not talking about that kind. But every time that matter comes up, your body starts to tense. You know, my neck hurts. My shoulders hurt. All my aching back. See, because you have something heavy weighing on you. I want you to spell out something. You ready? REMOVE. What did you spell, Trish?
Remove.
Remove. How do you remove something that you can remove? What would you do if I ask you to write on the board, on your whiteboards, on your papers, on your tablets, on your phone, whatever device you are using, what's the first thing you would think about? Remove. Let's try it. Trish, what would you think about? Now there's something that's heavy on your back and you say, I say remove. What would you work with?
I would say I would remove stressful thoughts.
Stressful thoughts. And I would say, when it says remove, I would say I need more time to rest. Literally. From fatigue. You see what we're doing here? Everybody's remove is not going to be in the same order. Trish said stressful thoughts. I said rest. Because there is something that's going to help you be able to move what you've been tied to for so long. You need to be in control. I know a lot of people like that. They have to be in control of you and everybody else. But you know who they're not in control of? Themselves. Sometimes we're going to need to unleash the rocks that are on our back. Because, see, we can add to them and we can chain them down on our own backs. Because we need to be in control of everybody's life. You know anybody like that, Trish?
Yes.
I do too. And I think to myself, why are they like that? Why are they in need to be in control of everyone else's life? They have the answers to yours, mine, theirs, hers, his. But you ask them one thing about themselves, they're going to hesitate. And we have to think about the you, Y-O-U, all in capital letters. Why are you like that? And when we say you, we're talking about general persons or people. Rich, poor, black, white, yellow. It can affect anyone because you want to control you. You may feel that your life is so out of control. Your life is out of your hands. You may feel that way, but you are possible. Measure that. Measure your possibilities. List what has been possible, what you have attained in the last months of 2026. Because it's going by, guys. What have you achieved? Why are you so busy trying to control other people and less of yourself? Control of emotions. Not letting things affect you today the way they did yesterday, right? Being in control of emotions. How about actions? You see what you can purpose to be, controlling your actions? You know, like sometimes the reaction of you toward other people can make you really want to punch someone's lights out, but you don't do it, not because you're not a violent person, but because you have gained control of your actions. You have thought about, if I did that, what would be the consequences? You see what I mean? Gaining control of your actions. How about our speech? Gaining control of that. You want to say this, but you said that. So you'll say anything because none of it's in control. I've been there. I've been there so much that I have said what I've said because I'm just so aggravated. See, that's not somebody that I can say, well, they don't, because now it becomes my responsibility to get in control of me. What's another thing? How many of us are people pleasers? Anybody out there? Are you a people pleaser? Because it's hard to admit being a people pleaser. We must admit, acknowledge, become aware, own it in order to change it. We want to be the yes man. And if anybody has had a feel good for always being the yes man, I'd love to hear it. And does it still work for you? Notice I didn't say you need to change that, Because this is not that kind of show. This is a show about your emotional and mental wellness and all the experiences that we've had in open, deep conversations. But I would like you to think about your wellness. How has it made you feel being the yes man? Or being known as, that person will never tell me no, or I can't. We must think about that. Where is the balance with us being people pleasers? Because I'll tell you right now, all of us want to be liked. So much so that some of us die for the very thing that we need to gain ourselves. We need to discover who we are instead of being a people pleaser. A lot of us have suffered. And I'll tell you why. We've had emotional experiences that didn't feel so good, ones that we didn't cause, childhood wounds. You know, that wound that you get that you say, ouch, in addition to one that you got because you fell off your skates or your skateboard or your bike or running, playing hide and go seek. You've got childhood wounds that you did not put there, but someone was responsible for it. Let's stay there. Those childhood wounds. You've grown up past the age of 3, 5, 10, 15, 18. Now you have become an adult. And trying to be that adult, if you don't acknowledge that wounded inner child, that comes with everything you will do, say, and think. So with our childhood wounds, I want you to think about the word remove. And I'm not talking about the whole experience, because some people have learned to remove parts of that, and then some people say, if that hadn't have happened, I would not have been the person that I became. Any wound, and I want you to be able to say this, any wound that you have gotten in your lifetime has caused you a measure of pain, discomfort. Childhood wounds have not been good. Some of those scars last a lifetime. We carry them and we torture ourselves over wounds that we didn't create. Could be our environment. Could be the providers, whether they're our parents, whether they're our teachers, whomever was child rearing you. We are affected by those and that around us. And at the tender age of inaccountability, when you're 1 through 5, 10 through 11, 12 through 13, 15 through 18, you grow. And you grow to learn and discover things about yourself. And you learn from those. But some of us are still stuck with our childhood wounds because we say, that's my fault. Or you see, this is the way it was in my environment. Maybe I didn't have that experience, but here's what I know. That it's caused you some pain and discomfort. And so what do you do with that rock that's been on your back and now you're middle-aged? And you've been carrying that around and you're waiting for someone else to remove it. What is the action of your being able to unchain yourself and remove it? It's the same exercise that we just did, Trisha and I, about removing something. You must come to think, what do I need to do? And it isn't a very easy assignment as you start to think about. Betrayal. When I think about betrayal, people use that word a lot. Married couples, in relationships. We don't think about our dog betraying us. Even if our dog bites us, we're going to give that dog still another chance, and never do we use that word, or will we, with our fur babies, if you have them. You're going to look for a reason of why you should forgive your fur babies. But in everyday relationships, we use this word betrayal, and is regarded to human, never to the fur babies. I'm just proving a point. Betrayal, broken trust, untrustworthy. And we say, with that betrayal, now I can't trust. Because this person has betrayed me. And let's go a little deeper, because sometimes we may have betrayed someone. Let's be honest. And so we say, how do I overcome this heavy burden? Because I'm trying to measure out the betrayal and the untrustworthiness. And that's impossible. But we have to think, what if we were the betrayal? And the shoe was on the other foot, how that person could be doing. We have raw conversations here. We are people. We deal with feelings, unresolved trauma, rejection, where people say no. But we have to learn how to balance that as they come in our lives. Are they saying no because it's best not to do it, or no because it's unsafe, or they just say no, they don't want you because they don't like you, and anything you do, say, or speak, it's going to be no. See, there are different kinds of no. I like to use this analogy. When a baby is little, that's usually their first word. No, because we always say what? That means to them, don't touch it. And they will even test you. If you've ever been around a baby and you say, don't touch that, that means no to them. And they don't like that word, but they learn that word because it is one syllable and it's easy to say, no. But now when you think about it, as your adult self, how have you looked at that when someone is saying no to you? How many times have you said no to someone? It's not like you're going to go play baseball and you're in a classroom and your peers have picked out who's going to be on their team, and you're the last man standing or the last girl standing, and they both said, no, we don't want her. Some of you have experienced that. How does that make you feel? You carry that on your back because you're afraid that someone won't accept you. It's not good enough. So you think. How do you remove that? Because it's going to happen in life, guaranteed. There are going to be people that don't like us, people that don't like me, people that may hate Vibe Talk, hate the way I talk. They might. How do I respond to that? Today, this is all about your wellness. You can release what you no longer need to carry. Sometimes my kids, one of them would carry a backpack so heavy, and it's like, why are you carrying all those books? Because it becomes habit. And so you go through the backpack as a parent and you go, well, you don't need this book. So you take that out. You don't need this. That was last week's homework. And so you start to release yourself of the pressure of carrying what was heavy, and you go, oh, that feels so much better. Oh, that feels so much better. That's what we want. You to get better. We want your wellness to be something that will affect you for the positive and not the negative. We're here for you. Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast is all about your emotions, emotional support, mental support. We believe in you, and this is a safe place for your well-being. We want you to think about the things that you have carried, and you don't recognize the weight of what you've carried has affected you for either long-term or short-term. We'll be right back with Trish's Treasures. Right back. Men and Their Emotions. My published book, my very first book, is out now. If you're interested in purchasing it yet, there is a link on our Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast on Facebook. Click the link and you can find out how to get it. We're back with Trish's Treasures. Trish?
I recall 2 years when I did a certain workout. It was like the backpack scenario that we talked about. And I put all my college books in there. I put my notebooks in there. I put a lot of things in there. And my mom, she was watching me. And she goes, "You don't think that's too heavy?" And I look at her and I say, "It's supposed to be heavy because I'm going to walk around, take like 10 laps around the house with this on for a workout." And she goes, she says, okay, don't tell me that my back is hurting. Don't tell me my navel's hurting. Don't say that because you know that's too heavy for you. And I go, yes, ma'am. And when I'm about to pick up the bag, I pick up the bag by the top strap, which is like the little handle that we grip to pick up the bag. And the bag weighs me down. I almost fall. Like, that's how heavy the bag is. And I still pick up the bag and I walk outside. I put my music on and I'm at the third lap and I'm starting to feel it. My back is starting to hurt because the bag is too heavy. But I say, I gotta push through it. I gotta go because this workout, it'll benefit me. Fast forward, I'm finished with the workout. I got a good sweat on. And when I wake up the next day, my whole body felt it. It was the sorest I've ever been from doing a HIIT workout. A HIIT workout is a very intense workout. That's what they call it. So I then told myself the next day that, yeah, I'm not doing that again. I gotta do something else. And I say that point to I make that point to say we all know how our baggage feels because it's our baggage and we carry it every day. It's like that backpack. We're doing 10 laps a day. We're going to work every day with that same backpack. And my mom, she told me, she said, "That's you don't think that's too heavy? Okay, if that's what you want to do." And that's the most important thing is it's our choice whether we want to remove some things or keep going and see how it turns out in the end and feel that pain or feel that soreness or the aftermath of carrying that much weight. And we must remember we are human. We are people. We have feelings. We hurt. We we feel joy. We stress out. We feel frustrated. Those are feelings that all humans feel. And it's important for us to stop, take the bag off, unzip the bag, and take out, remove the things that we don't need. And at the end of the day, we can still walk, we could still go to work, we can still do our everyday activities without the extra baggage. So I hope you guys are motivated today to remove some of the things that is causing you to feel that sore aftermath of what is weighing on you. Thank you.
You want more of Trisha's treasures? Go right to our YouTube page and find out all about Trisha's treasures and listen to her music as well. Thank you, Trish, for that. Our Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast is sponsored by the Healing Center. Our Healing Center is for those of you who really want help. We have raw conversations about your emotions and how to help you. Our Wellness Wednesday is all about being well, getting well, and staying well. We want to thank you, Trish, and thank our audience near and far. Thank you for joining us. Bye for now.